Well, that was that's what you call getting exposed right there. Couple things. First, I think we have to be really smart about the things we have to get corrected right now. Have to get corrected. We have a responsibility to get corrected as coaches. And then there's some other things where we have to be patient. Okay, we knew coming in here that it was going to be difficult. I knew this would be a more difficult game than Texas for us just because of their style of offense against our defense. But to be honest, I didn't think we would be that bad on defense. I knew Freddie Young didn't play. We lost Raymer in the first series. We lost Cranston Jones in the first series. But that's still no excuse to play that poorly. That's something I talked to our players about. It's a shared responsibility to get fixed. We start off the game on offense. We have a senior wide receiver that lines up and has 2 penalties out of the first 3 plays. We can't stop them on defense. We did have 1 drive in the first half. Then on defense, we have them 3rd and 16 or 18. They go 4 vertical, uncontested. I don't know how many uncontested throws we've had this year for big plays. Then we let the kickoff. Maybe the worst thing of all of the night was, Chase Clayton has a great kickoff return. We feel like we've got a little bit of something. Then we let the ball hit on the ground before the second half. That's just unacceptable, inexcusable. I take responsibility for that. Let's be honest. If Tommy Tuberville doesn't call them off, they're going to score a lot more points than they scored. With that said, we talked about at halftime, just narrow the focus. Don't worry about the ramifications of this game. I'll be responsible for what happened. And let's just go play the second half. Don't think of all the things, what people are going to say, what people think of our team. None of that matters. Let's just go play the second half. And I think, with our 1s against their 2s, we kind of hung in there a little bit in the second half. But offensively, we never really could get anything going either. So it's, it's frustrating. But again, patience. We've got to get the things solved that we can get solved. And that's my responsibility to get those things solved. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what the scholarship numbers are or who's hurt, who's not hurt. You can't go out there and have 2 penalties the first 3 plays of the game. You can't give up a 3rd and 18 on an uncontested play. You can't let the kickoff fall to the ground and give them another touchdown before the half. We've got to get some things corrected. But very disappointing, very disappointing. So that's what it is. We've got a lot of things that we've got to coach better, starting right now.
You feel like were there a lot of busted assignments, you feel?
No, wasn't so much busted assignments. I mean, we've got a dilemma, we're caught in that thing where we're really limited playing man coverage. I mean, basically, every time we played man, it was pitch and catch. And then when you play zone and you spread out, they not only were able to run it, but you're playing right into their hands because they're going to spread the field with those formations. And that quarterback's good now. He's going to pick you apart. I've got a lot of respect for him. I think I talked to Coach Tommy after the game. I mean, they're a much improved team, and he thinks they're a much improved team. I agree with that. But, we've got some problems there. We really do. I mean, we're going to get exposed against a team like Texas Tech. But with that said, there's some things that is my responsibility to get fixed. So it was a combination of things. Cranston Jones was the nickel going into the game. I mean, he's out immediately, and now Tabana's in there playing 60 snaps or something. He hadn't been around in 2 weeks. He's in there playing 60 snaps. Raymer goes out. Freddie Young was already out, and now it's Jamal Merritt playing the whole game. So there were some things there. But with that said, that is no excuse. I mean, we have got to coach better. And I told our players this, we are not leaving this season in Lubbock, Texas. We are not leaving this season in Lubbock, Texas. We got a lot of football left. I appreciate their effort. It's a tough situation to be in. They have to come out that second half. It's not like they're just going to go away and hide. They're going to come back and play the second half, and we had to do the same thing. So I do appreciate guys trying to be positive in the second half. I do appreciate how difficult that is on guys, but I'm not accepting it. We are not accepting it. We're going to put this game behind us. We're going to come in Monday. We're going to start over. But in no way do I accept this. Do I accept this performance? We are not accepting some of the things that happened from a coaching standpoint and a playing standpoint.
Offensively, you had one near perfect drive. Other than that, a lot of 3 and outs. Execution?
I've got to look at it. We're kind of in the thing when Cole's in there. It's run. When BR's in there, we try to throw it a little bit. I think it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. I mean, I'm not so disappointed that I don't think we can improve from these last 2 games. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we have to do better. I think the positive thing, and this sounds so funny, but by playing these 3 straight away games, we've had a chance to spend so much time around our players. And really, from a relationship standpoint, being around them, coaching them as hard as we can, young guys getting a chance to get in, I think this 3-game away thing will really help us in the end. And right now, as bleak as it is, there's not many positives right now. But I think starting Monday, we can get some things solved.
Any other questions? You talked a little bit about the passing attack and the matchup between the Texas Tech offense and your defense. Could you talk about their rushing attack, because they had a lot of success doing that?
They wore us out. It was. It's like I said, when you can play man-to-man coverage, you can outnumber them a little bit in the box. But when you have to spread out and play kind of an umbrella coverage, you play right into their hands. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, I mean, if you go one safety in the middle and play some kind of man, you're going to get exposed with that. So there's no question they had us. And we knew it was coming. I mean, I knew what was coming. I was just disappointed. We caused the 1 turnover. We fortunately got off the field in that situation. For us right now against a team like that, we're going to have to create turnovers. But they did a good job. I mean, they did a good job schematically. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop the pass, if we're honest. That's the reality of that situation. And again, we need to have a better plan, and there's some things we need to ask guys to do better if they're capable of doing it. I mean, that's okay.
You did such a good job running the ball last week against Texas. What prevented you from kind of building on that and feeding on that again this week?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think they didn't let us get the ball on the perimeter as much. It seemed to me they said, listen, you're going to hand it up in there and try to run between the tackles. And we're a little bit undersized in there at guard. We're about 270 pounds at guard. We started 2 true freshmen on offense, Garrett Adcock and Carlos Wiggins. But we're a little bit small inside. And they've got those 2 inside tackles that I know both kids, I think they're both junior college kids they recruited last year. I mean, they've got some good-looking kids in there. They're an improved defense. But I think they made us keep the ball in the box a little bit more and didn't let us get it out on the perimeter. And they were just a little bigger and more physical than us on the inside.
What was the strategy in switching quarterbacks back and forth during the game, and what do you think each one brought?
I thought BR did a couple good things. I was glad BR didn't get hurt on that last play. We go for it on 4th and down, and we almost get him. He almost gets hurt. BR did some good things. I mean, BR threw the ball well at times. Again, you can see his strengths throwing a little bit more than running. That's just where we are. That's just where we are to function. We need to continue to get Cole in there. Cole has to do what Cole does. We have to have a little more trust. Maybe not trust is the right word, but a little bit more of It's us, and throw the ball a little more with Cole in there. You know, just like we play so many young guys, we have to just say, look, for us to be better in the future, we have to do these things. Even though we obviously know Cole right now it doesn't function real well in the passing game. For us to be better at some point, we have to do that.
How do you think Tech's defense did, or compared to what
Well,
you expected with the
I talked to Tommy before the game, and he thought they were much improved. You know, and I know him well enough that we could have a conversation, a realistic conversation. He thinks they're a much better defensive football team, and I do too. You know, they've recruited well. He's brought in some junior college kids. They're physical looking. But I think the biggest thing is they've really become just a technique defense where they line up pretty much in the same thing every down. They look to me, and I know this from talking to them, they're really emphasizing technique. They feel their talent level's up, so they're able to do that. And I know he's gone through some of the same frustrations I've gone through that we're going through right now. But he's got that thing built up, I think, here. What's his third year, Tommy's? I think he's got it built up a little bit, and I think he's got a coaching staff that he's comfortable with now on defense. All right, guys. Thank you.